My name's Harry Grech, I'm 26 years old and I fight out of Igor MMA in Bondi Junction. I was born in Sydney, but I grew up in Auckland with my mum, my brother and my sister. When I was 16 years old, I called my dad and I asked him if I could live with him in Sydney, because I decided that life in Auckland wasn't for me. When I got to Sydney, my dad would be walking out the door a couple of nights a week, going to judo. He'd always ask me if I wanted to come along. Maybe a couple of months into living with him, I decided, hey, why not? I'll check out a class. So I went with him and I loved it. I started competing throughout 2006 and 2007, and up until 2011 I was competing as often as possible, both nationally and internationally. In 2011, New South Wales International Open, I injured my foot very badly, and it required me to have a full reconstruction full of bolts and plates and all that, and I decided that my judo career was over. So I decided I need to put my focus on something else. So what I did is I booked myself a trip to Thailand. When I got to Thailand, I brought my gi and I figured, hey, I'll do some jiu-jitsu. But it was too hot to train in the gi. Each day I'd be sweating and I'd be cramping, and I decided I'm going to try the no-gi instead. And I decided I could use some of my judo in the no-gi and it flows quite well. When I got home from training in Thailand, I thought I'd check out a catch wrestling gym due to my fascination with Zidzik Sakuraba. And I started training a few nights a week in catch. It was a small gym, but I loved the technique, I loved the unorthodox style. The idea of doing things the typical jiu-jitsu player would think was silly or putting yourself in danger. In 2011, I went to Japan. I decided I needed to up my training for catch. I wanted to get the best techniques around. So I sought out Sakuraba's student Takanori Sato. And I trained with him, Shinya Hoki, and Imanari at Deep Gym in Tokyo. Takanori Sato showed me the Kimura. I rolled with him every day while I was there, and he would catch me in Kimuras from all sorts of positions, and I decided I want that style. I got everything I possibly could out of him, what he had learned from Sakuraba himself, and I figured, hey, the next person at that level Sakuraba was on that uses catch wrestling is Josh Barnett, so I had to meet him too. I remember I was staying at a motel in Orange County, found the gym in the end and it was closed. So I sat down on the steps outside the front door. I was thinking, what's going on? No one's here. So I kind of just put my head in my lap, but then a car pulled up and a guy was standing right in front of me, and it was Josh Barnett. He put his hand down and said, hi, I'm Josh. And he opened the doors, and that began my month of training with Josh Barnett. And just like I did with Sakuraba's student, I got as much information as I possibly could. I'd watch videos on YouTube. I wrote down everything, page after page. I'd be reading it in my hotel at the end of the night. So fast forward to 2015, I went to California to compete at the No-Gi World Championships. I was warming up, my name was called, and I thought about all my training up until that point. All the videos I've been watching, all the training sessions that I'd been taking part in, my overseas trips, my study of the Kimura, and I decided that it has to work. I'd practiced it thousands of times. It just had to. So I stepped on the mat for my first fight and I gave my back. I managed to slide my hands in for the Kimura, and I took it from standing to the ground and finished it in side control. I'd won my first match at the Worlds and I was pretty stoked. The second match was more or less the same. However, I finished it from bottom side control. And once again, I was convinced, hey, if it's working on this level, it can work against anybody. I ended up losing my next match, but I had won bronze at the No-Gi World Championships and I was pretty pleased. When I'm not training, I make sure that I surround myself with people that are equally motivated or have equally big goals in what I love to do, and that's to grapple. So my closest friends, Kel, Bo, Hugo, Marty, when I'm on the mat with these guys, we all push each other. It's always tough when we're on the mats together. It's always beating each other up. We know each other's games so well, so it's always a grind. Doesn't matter who we're grappling in that gym, it's always tough. So January 1st for me is always a big day. It's always, what am I going to do this year? Where am I going to compete? What am I going to win? Where am I going to be at the end of this year? So when I do get to December 31st, I look back and I say, hey, I went everywhere I wanted to go. I trained with whoever I wanted to train with that year. I won whatever tournament I wanted to win, and I learnt whatever move I wanted to learn. I can always look back and smile when I know that I achieved what I wanted to do that year.